Hi. I haven't done one of these in a little while, and so I figured I would do one again. So excuse my messy kitchen and the happy birthday balloon stuff and uh, juice and whatnot. You won't be able to see my face because I couldn't figure out how to set this up and didn't feel like messing with it anymore. But you can see what you need to see, which is going to be right here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make ribs. Delicious, delicious ribs. So first things first, I should probably preheat the oven. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on 250. We don't need it very high. We're going to cook it low. We're going to cook it slow. We're going to let it take its time so that way it can be nice and moist and flavorful. Slow cooking them is the way to go. Ooh, we got some good double chin action there. Alright, so what I need to do is some sizzles. And cut open this bad boy right here. Now you get beef ribs and you get pork ribs. It's upside down, but you still know what it says. I don't know which one is supposed to be better. I went with pork. That's what we had, so it's what we're having. I will let you know how it goes. Alright, let's just slice into these bad boys right quickly. Bam, bam, bam. Whoop. Right down the center, let all those juices run out, which just never fails really to gross me out. So what I should have done first, which I got distracted because I'm talking to you guys, I should have put all the seasonings together before I did this. But it's cool, it's cool. I'm gonna wash my hands now because I got icky meat juices on them. So what we'll do first is we're just going to salt and pepper the meat whenever we originally get it out. After that, I'm gonna make a little mix, and I forgot something. It's the brown sugar. It's at the top of my pantry, y'all. And I usually grab this, which is why I didn't grab it. There we go. Brown sugar. Makes it nice and sweet. It's going to help to caramelize it at the end. And oh, look at that. I'm almost out of brown sugar. That's cool. That doesn't happen too often. Let's see. We're going to little spoon here off of mixing. Now, like, you know you're supposed to measure these things. I don't ever measure these things. I've got these little hard bits in here I need to take out because I've just had this brown sugar for a while. I use brown sugar every day in my life. So I'm just going to take out these little hard bits. Fun fact, you can put marshmallows in with your brown sugar. And what they'll do is they'll absorb any moisture in there. And so that way you don't get these hard bits. You can also do that with, like, rice as well. And so that way the rice doesn't get any moisture on it. I don't have marshmallows, so I didn't do that, and it doesn't really bugger me either to pick these out, so whatever. We're going to need more than that because I want a high ratio here of brown sugar. And the ratio means like I want, let's say, a 2-to-1 ratio of brown sugar to salt. I don't, but we're just saying that for the sake. So if I said I want a 2-to-1 ratio of brown sugar to salt, that means I want twice as much brown sugar as I do salt. So that means for every 2 parts of brown sugar, I need 1 part of salt. Again, though, don't do that. That'll make your ribs incredibly salty. That's way too much salt. This is almost too much sugar, but I also believe you can never have too much sugar. You know what else I didn't do? All over the place with this video. I didn't check to make sure I had barbecue sauce. There goes the cheese. Alright, let's put the cheese back. Check for barbecue sauce. Oh good Lord, please tell me I got barbecue sauce. Because I know I don't have any ketchup to make barbecue sauce with. Oh my god, if I don't have it, I'm going to feel like the world's biggest ding dong. Please tell me I got barbecue sauce. Oh Lord. Poop. Are you kidding me? Dudes, I might not even have any BBQ. This is bananas. Oh, I'm such a dingle muffin. Really? Really? I got like all this kombucha. I got Hershey syrup. I got sparkling white chips. And I don't have any barbecue sauce. Oh man, for real? Whatever. I'll go get get some while this is cooking. That was stupid of me, though. Alright, whatever. It's fine. I'll just go by the store again for like the third time this week. Totally normal. Totally okay. So, taking out these little hard bits. That's enough brown sugar, I do believe right now. Put on my very fancy brown sugar top here. Should probably invest in the inside canisters. I'm putting turmeric in there, not for taste, but just turmeric is very good, healthy seasoning to have. It's very anti-inflammatory, so I put it in anything if I can put it in early, because that helps to cook out a lot of the flavor, so you won't really taste it that much. Next is coming cayenne. Cayenne now has a kick to it. It has a chemical in it known as capsaicin, which is also used in like pepper sprays. It's where it gets all the heat from, like a lot of peppers do. This is chili powder. Chili powder now has no heat, and I love chili powder, so I'm gonna put a buttload in here. Chili powder is amazing. It's super flavorful. It's got a very unique flavor, but no heat to it, and it's not very overpowering. It goes with a lot. I dig it. Now this is paprika. Paprika has a very smoky flavor. It's also got heat to it. A different type of heat. It's not as strong as the cayenne ones, but it's still heat. This is something I should be embarrassed about, so I hope nobody sees this with you guys. So some of these, ow, dang, that hurt. Some of these, what are these called? Seasonings I got here are just old. I've had them for a while. And so I kind of got to stab them until they start to work properly. And that still didn't do. Can I take this white thing off? I feel like this is going to end in me getting injured. That's almost definitely going to end in me getting injured. Let's see if I can provide some leverage and put my little spoon here up under the top. Nope, not really. Dagnabbit. Alright, we're going to stab it. Spoon's not working well enough. We're getting one of the knives that Craig lovingly brought into our home and sharpens. That's really working very well. I'm a little bit worried about the state of this scarlet powder now. Okay, well, welcome to the world's most embarrassing video. But it's fine. None of you guys will ever see this, and who cares? What is wrong with this? I just want to make a sweet little cooking video for my siblings, and I don't have barbecue sauce to make barbecue ribs, and my herbs are sticking together, and my brown sugar has no hard parts in it. This is life. This is how life works out sometimes, guys. It's not always going to go the way that you want. You just got to laugh at it, because you got to go through it either way, so you may as well go through it happy. We'll put a little bit more, because in my eyes, you can't ever really have too much garlic. I don't usually like garlic powder, but considering we're making a dry rub here, it's what we got to go with. We're going to use some ground mustard as well, just because it gives a nice little flavor to things. Good God, when's the last time I went seasoning shopping? This is ridiculous. Doesn't really taste like mustard, but it adds a good flavor to things. Sorry, I had a hiccup. Again, the onion powder that we're about to add is also a little bananas. And you might notice that, like, have you seen me measure anything? No. Sometimes when you've been cooking for so long, you don't really have to measure stuff anymore. But what I will follow is the ratios that I told you about. So I wanted about 4 times as much brown sugar as I put in of anything else, because mostly I want it sweet. The sugars in the brown sugar are going to caramelize, so that's where it makes like a sticky kind of sweet glaze over the meat. Oh, that's the part you want. That's the good stuff right in there. So I put a lot of that in, and then I made sure to put like 1/4 of the brown sugar of everything else. So as long as you can stick to ratios well, you don't have to measure. But it'll take a while before you get there. I had to cook a lot and measure a lot before I could put these things together and realize like about what a tablespoon looks like and stuff like that. If I'm baking, these rules do not apply. This is cooking. Using like meat and stuff like that, stuff that you can kind of like work on as you go, that's cooking. But like baking is like cakes, pastries, breads, stuff like that. Baking is a chemical process where once you put it together and it goes in the oven, you can't do anything else with it. You're stuck with it. Once this is done, I could taste this if I wanted to, and be like, oh, well, I think it needs a little bit of this or that. I like watching them mix together. But with bacon, it's not like that. It's just like the dough tastes funny. You can't really taste it and see what it's going to be like when it's finished. You just kind of got to put it in the oven and hope that it all works out in the end. And if it don't, well, time to start over. So I measure for baking, because you have to be very precise with it and get it right. But I do not measure anything when I'm cooking, because I like to do it how I want to do it. Like, put a little bit more chili powder in here than everything else, because I like chili powder. Right? I'm going to lick my fingers so this sticks. That. Let's see. I like that. I put a good bit of paprika. I can taste that. It's got like that smoky heat. It's going really well with the sweetness. Obviously, it needs salt, but we'll put that on the meat directly. Now's the part I don't like, and that's when I get my hands dirty. So, we got some aluminum foil here. There's a particular reason we're using that. I'll go into it in a minute. So I'm going to take this meat. I hate touching raw meat, you guys, but it's necessary for cooking, but I can't stand it. Ew. Bolt. Ew. Alright, if I touch the seasonings directly, since my hands are wet now from touching the meat, it's going to get seasoning stuck to my fingers. So I'm just going to use a spoon. Now the spoon is dirty. It's got juices all over it. So I will wash my hands and stick the spoon in the washing machine, or dishwasher, before I touch anything else. So we're just going to sprinkle that all over. And put half of it on the side. And this is a dry rub, because it's dry, obviously. And because I'm just going to rub it in here, rub it all into the meat, making sure that it sticks, making sure that that sugar has enough parts to cover so that way it can make a sweet, sweet, sweet glaze. I'm going to flip it. Ew. There's a little on the side fell off. We just want to add it. So the rest of this is going in. I don't need half of it in here. Now the bowl is contaminated because I'm touching the bowl with the hand that was touching the meat. So the bowl will go straight to the dishwasher too. Not the washing machine. Dry rub here. Yeah, we're going to rub it in. This is gross, but it's necessary to create a delicious meal. And sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do to end up with a result that you're happy with. A big part of that in my life is touching raw meat, because I love making a beautiful, delicious, tasty dinner. But thank God I hate touching raw meat. So we're rubbing that in, making sure it's nice and sticky and getting all in there, pressing it into the meat. I don't know if it does anything, like it just kind of feels good. And we're going to flip it again so I can keep the meat side up here. So the bones are on the other side. I'll get some air underneath it, help it out a little bit. You can see some of my onion and garlic powder. There's still clumps like this. Can you see that? Like this right here. That's alright. It's not the end of the world. I don't need it to be perfect. Because what's going to happen is as it cooks, there's going to be juices that come out of the meat anyways. Those juices are going to cause those, get moisture into the clumps, cause them to break apart on their own. It's fine. It's going to be in there for so long, too, like a couple hours, that the meat is going to have time to have all the flavors mixed. So I'm not really sweating those at all. Now, the reason we put this down in aluminum foil, not just because it's nasty just to put this right on the counter, but also because what we want to do is, while this is slow cooking, we're going to have all this heat coming off of the meat. We're going to have all of this steam coming up. Steam is when liquids get so hot that they go into the air in particles. It's like steam whenever you get out of the shower. It's just like that. Or when you see a pot of water boiling and that smoky stuff comes up, that's steam. It's just water particles that are so hot they couldn't help but go into the air. That's what's going to happen here. So, if I take this and I wrap it up, and I knew it was going to be too short, that's why I got my bonus over here. I'll put this on top. since I didn't make this long enough. Wrap it, and we'll make little pockets so that way all the steam that is created from the juices of this meat and the heat are going to be trapped inside. That's going to keep the steam circulating around the meat versus it leaving and going into the oven. That's going to help it cook faster. It's going to help it retain all of its juices and stay nice and juicy and tasty. So you see, you just wrap. Get it nice and tight. I'm still like leaving a little bit of room. I don't want it right up on it, just like medium up on it. So that way, you know, it can have some room to let that steam circulate, but it is pretty tight. Pick it up. Going over here. I'm not touching the oven doors with fingers like this, so please pardon me while I wash it. But first, I hate this part too. I gotta put the meat plastic, like the plastic that the meat was in, into the trash can. Ew. Because if I wash my hands and then do this, they will be dirty again, and that will just defeat the entire purpose, you know? So I'm gonna wash. Nope. I'm not going to wash them. I still gotta put the bowl and the spoon in the dishwasher. Oh. Now I can wash my hands. And I will do so liberally. There. Funny thing about turmeric, that spice that I told you, it was like anti-inflammatory, turns everything yellow. Like everything yellow. So if you're cooking with something, it's gonna be yellow. You got some leftovers with a lot of turmeric in it, it's gonna be yellow. It makes it all yellow, but whatever, it's worth it for the health benefits. We're yellow, it won't hurt nobody. The oven is already preheated because 250 is not a very high temperature. So, let me dry off my hands real quick. Let's see if you can. This is the worst setup ever. I don't know this Russian. I'm not happy that you do. It makes me happy. I'm gonna stick them in the oven here. It's 5:45, so in about 2 hours, right about the time for Greg's football game to start, it'll be about done. That also gives me 2 hours to go to the grocery store and get barbecue sauce because I'm a ding-dong and had to make sure I had barbecue sauce before I decided to make ribs. Always check and make sure you have all of your ingredients, but whatever, it could be worse. There's nothing wrong with having to go to the store every once in a while. Anywho, thank you guys for watching if you did watch this. I love you both very much. I will video whenever I take these bad boys out. Love y'all.